Do you remember these items from the beginning of your course? They represented the different types of writing that you could engage in and you would engage in throughout the course. For example, we have the narrative that was represented by Papa's potato, the descriptive that was symbolized in the cedar box that belonged to my grandparents, the illustration, which was represented by the Coke bottle or soda bottle there, and recycling was the idea that we wanted to illustrate. The comparison, which compared the garden tomato to the grocery store tomato. The classification, which went into detail about the different types of farm animals. The definition, where we use this to symbolize maybe defining the word love and using synonyms and antonyms to do that. Well, these were my ideas, and you had your own ideas, and you wrote about them. Now it's your turn to choose from your narrative, descriptive, illustration, comparison, classification, or definition. Choose one of them, and based on that one that you choose, you're going to transform it into essay format. Now let's talk briefly about essay format. You're going to start with an introduction paragraph, and you're going to need a really strong attention getter. This attention getter should be like a quotation, a question, a startling statement, anything that just instantly your reader goes, oh, I want to read this. This sounds like it's going to be interesting. I am going to go ahead and decide that my piece that I'm going to turn into an essay is Papa's story, the potato story that I told you at the beginning of the course. And so if I were going to write an attention getter for Papa's story, I would maybe say, who knew a city girl would love living and working on a farm? Okay, so there's a nice little question that gets the reader interested. The second thing that you need to make sure that you include in your introduction paragraph is a thesis statement. And this is the sentence, the statement that tells your reader exactly what the paper and the essay is going to be about. It should not be a I am going to tell you about or this paper is about type of sentence. You need to state your purpose without actually going into the fact that you are stating your purpose. Okay? So the thesis statement that I might write for my narrative about my time with Papa would be, I will never forget the time I harvested potatoes with my husband's grandfather, Papa Tomlin. I learned that even though gardening is hard work, it can also be fun. Okay, your thesis statement should also be the last sentence of your first paragraph. This gives your reader an idea of where the rest of the paragraph is heading. And in between your attention getter and your thesis statement, you need some transition statements that make it all flow together. The second paragraph and the third and the fourth are all called body paragraphs. And each paragraph that is in the body should highlight a certain aspect of the thesis statement. So my first body paragraph might be about Papa Tomlin and I harvesting the potatoes together. And, he started out doing it, then I offered to help. Then the second body paragraph would be that I started realizing that this was in fact hard work and a very sweaty job. And I could go into the details that, of actually the process of digging and the tools that I used and the work that was involved. Then the third body paragraph would be maybe when I started to see it as a treasure hunt and that it was actually really a lot of fun. And I can focus on that and how in our conversation as we went along. So in my three body paragraphs, I focused on the three ideas that I initiated in my thesis statement, which were harvesting potatoes with Papa, hard work, and fun. Then your concluding paragraph is your last paragraph of your essay. If you'll notice, we've been talking about how many paragraphs you've had, and at this point you would have had 5 paragraphs, and that's a good size for an essay. In your concluding paragraph, you need a restatement of your thesis and a review of the main points. You do not want to restate it exactly. It should not be a word-for-word representation of what you already said, but it should definitely include the same information and remind your reader of what they've read already. My example would be harvesting potatoes with Papa Tomlin was a lot of work, but I loved doing it. Okay. Then in that same concluding paragraph, you need some transition sentences between your restatement of your thesis, and then you need a final application. Why is this information important? Why is it important to you specifically, and why should it be important to your audience? Why should they even care to read it? But like for the narrative, since it's more personal, this one would be, why is it special to you? Why was this time special to you? And an example of my concluding sentence and final application would be, I will treasure this memory of potato farming with Papa for as long as I live. That gives a very final thought to what I've reflected on in my narrative piece. So that gives you an idea of how to organize your essay, whichever topic you choose. You want to make sure you have your introduction with your thesis statement, your attention getter first, and then your thesis statement. Then your second, third, and fourth paragraphs, they all need to go into detail about the thesis statement and go and explain those issues further that you mentioned there. And then you need to conclude with your final application and final thoughts. 2 Timothy 4:6-8 says, "For I am now ready to be offered, and the time of my departure is at hand. I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. Henceforth there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, shall give me at that day, and not to me only, but unto all them also that love his appearing." Today we are in Liberty University's Alumni Welcome Center. This is where alumni visit to catch up with old friends and relax and get reacquainted with the university. There's a lounge area, snacks, TV, an area for children to play, internet access, games. It's just a wonderful place for the alumni to come and relax. And so now that you are at the end of this course and you're looking on finishing it, this is going to be a place where you can eventually visit because you are on your way, you're on your path to being an alumni of Liberty University. One day you will be a graduate and you can look back and say that you fought a good fight, finished your courses, and kept the faith. And just as God promised, he was with you all the way as you worked and prepared for your future. God bless you.